What's up, guys? Happy Friday, everybody. If you're new here, welcome. We welcome you to the channel. It's gonna be a simple video today. We're gonna do kind of just a little recap, a little summarizing synopsis, if you will, of the last month or so. We'll do a little pulse check on the market, and now that the election, everything's over, market's skyrocketing, everything's great. Well, not everything's great. Some games aren't doing so hot, but we'll get to those when we get to them. But for the most part, life's pretty slow right now. So I'll start mostly like Magic. We'll do some Pokemon, and then I think I might even touch on some, if you know, you know, but Star Wars and One Piece and the future. We'll talk about the future at the end. So overall market, S&P all-time highs. Bitcoin all-time highs was like 75K. Everything's booming. Everything's booming. Everything's great. Except old Magic. No. So let's start with Magic, right? So what does this mean for Magic? How can we take the power of the market? Which I think if you go and you look, I think 1 point something trillion dollars of assets were added to the market, were created, and wealth was created just in 2 days or something like that, which is crazy. Magic, right? So how can we take this and apply it to Magic? Well, obviously, if you've not been living under a rock, the last three or four Magic collectors, basically from Bloomburrow and up, have been home runs. They've been killing it. They've got it figured out. Good on them. Good on them. They added MSRP back, which means nothing. If anything, it just kind of shows you maybe how underpriced they are. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just it's a mind game, but it means nothing. Now with that said, right, modern Magic doing well. Personally, I'd rather put my money into Pokemon, but I could see where certain universes beyond, like the Marvel and stuff, I could see some serious plays being there. So if you're a Magic person, I'll tell you guys, I love Arena. I play Arena all the time. I usually get to about Plat, and then I start getting my butt whooped. But again, if Standard was still a thing and they still push Standard as the main format instead of big competitions, I'd actually care about Magic. But it's a bunch of Commander nonsense, making up rules. There's no real competition. It's all you get a participation trophy. Get out of here. I want brutal cutthroat competition, and I want big cash money prizes. So if you can figure that out, Magic, get back to that. That's really the only thing. And I've talked about this in another video, so I'm not going to harp on it too much here. Vintage Magic. Vintage Pokemon's doing a little bit better, but vintage in general, especially vintage Magic, is it's wrecked. It's wrecked. It's not wrecked. It's not wrecked. But there's just so many better opportunities. I wouldn't even touch that stuff. Wouldn't sell it though. I've got some dual lands and some other revised Mana Crypt, the big three, Demonic Tutor, Mana Crypt, or Mana Tomb, whatever, and then Copy Artifact or whatever. I've got some of those in revised and unlimited. I'm not gonna sell them, but I'm not gonna buy anymore. But for the most part, besides everyone freaking about what was it, the Jeweled Lotus ban, no one really cares anymore, right? It's forgive but don't forget, right? That's kind of what it is, right? We've moved on, but I haven't forgotten about it, right? Which is why I'm I don't buy any. This has always been a philosophy. You still should not be investing in Magic singles. But in general, summarize it. You're doing better, Watsy. You're doing better. I see you. My recommendations, if you wanted to come to watch this video to tell me where to put your money, I still think that there's some older collector boxes that are under $200 that if you have any interest in playing in that game, that's probably what I would try. I would try those undervalued undervalued collector boxes. It's just so hard to tell on those older boxes how many they actually printed, if they're actually even valuable. Like, if you look at it, the very first collector box was it was Eldraine, I believe, Thrones of Eldraine. They're still like $200, and they were pre-ordering for more than what they're selling now. I've made a whole video on it. You can go look at it. But I think there's still probably some, like, for example, if you picked up some Dominaria United collector boxes when they were at like the 110, 120, still a good play. And I think even right now, like, if you can get it for like 150, 160, I think they're worth like 250 at least, probably, in the long run. So I mean, you can still make $100 in the next like year probably on them. So it's all right. But that's really my take on Magic is Universe versus Beyond. It is what it is. I think it sucks that their IP isn't strong enough to carry it as a brand, but I enjoy it on Arena. So let's talk about Pokemon. Pokemon's killing it. If you don't know, Safari Zone or whatever put SV9 up on for sale. They didn't have any pictures, any arts of it, or anything. Sold out instantly. It's just that's the market we're in, guys. It's just, it is what it is. Pokemon's on fire. Personally, I'm not going to go super in depth on this. I'm going to be a little bit faster about this. Paradox Rift, Obsidian Flames if you can still find it cheap. Base set if you can find it cheap. Temporal Forces. That's where I would kind of be throwing my money at right now. Obviously, with that caveat being, like, you already have some Surging Sparks. I wouldn't go buy more Surging Sparks if I already had some. I do, right? Like, I've got my case, not buying anymore. Because, like, will it go up higher? Yes. I just personally think I can make better plays otherwhere. But if you bought it, I wouldn't blame you, right? Because in the super long run, yeah, it probably will go up to like 500-600 in the, the super long run, right? But I'm looking at kind of like 1 to 2 year plays. I do like, the 5-10 year plays, but I like looking for like the good to like 1 to 2 year plays. For booster boxes at least. Undervalued. Like I'm not gonna, but here's one, for example, that I've been thinking about and I'm not pulling the trigger on because I already have a bunch. Battle Styles. Still only like 140, but I think it's still on the TCG or the Poke Center website. So that's one to be interested to see what happens to that when it actually finally sells out. Now let's talk about, if you made it this far, what's the deal with Star Wars? I told you guys that first set, it went too ridiculous. I sold all of it. I was selling like pre-order kits for like $80 that I had paid like $25 for. And like I picked up the booster boxes for like $89, the Sparkly Rebellion, and yeah, that was nuts. But I didn't pick up anything after that because I knew the company was at Fantasy Flights or whatever. They screw shit up. And apparently now, was it Twilight of the Republic or whatever, this new set? Go on TCG Player and go look at what boxes of the new set and the set before it are going for. They're like $70. So that game's already screwed. I just think it's funny because like not even 2 months ago, I think I made a tier list video and I put Star Wars at like the bottom and I was like, hey, it's doing well now, but just be careful. And a bunch of people in the comments were like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Star Wars is amazing. I think the gameplay is good, but don't put a lot of money into it. And then One Piece, same thing, but not as bad. Bandai just doing what they do. They just nuked the reprint button. I'll tell you, I've gotten out of all my... I timed that stuff, bro. I got out of all my boxes before they like heavily crashed. And I still have some singles, but I mean, they're just like kind of whatever. They're like tournament winner promo cards. So I'll probably just hold on to those for like, why not? Pretty much everything I have now in One Piece, it's just all like the free money stuff. I've already, cooped and made all my money from One Piece. I'm not touching any of that anymore. The future, speaking of One Piece, go back and look. I made a video where I talked about how Pokemon needed to make rare hits like the One Piece mangas. And I said, Pokemon, if you can make these high chase value cards, you're going to kill it, and it's like you're just going to catapult your guys' self to the next level. And I think it was literally the set after that was Twilight Masquerade. Or maybe it was 2 sets after that video. I think it was like Temporal Forces first. I made it before Temporal Forces. Anyway, basically they did exactly what I wanted them to do, and they made these crazy high dollar value chase cards, and it's just catapulted the Scarlet and Violet era into one of the most dominant eras ever. And we're on, I foresee this bull run going for at least the next year and a half, 2 years. It's going to be a good time. Don't buy super inflated assets, even though you could still make money. Find the cheap stuff, find the good stuff, find the value, the undervalue. And it's going to be a good time, guys. I'm excited. We'll see you around.